Welcome, everyone, to this special series. We're focusing on what it really means to be an alt-link here at Alter.
Right, Alter, our marketing and advertising agency. And we're driven by that big vision, aren't we? To be recognized as the home of limitless creativity.
Absolutely. And today, we're going to dive deep into one of our core values, adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability. And our definition, just to remind everyone, is I tailor my interactions to different people and situations instead of expecting others to change.
Okay, so let's really unpack that.
Yeah,
Because it sounds simple, but there's a lot to it, right?
for sure. It's definitely more than just, being flexible with project scope or deadlines.
Right. It's fundamental to how we connect, how we collaborate with each other every single day here.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging that, well, people are different. We communicate differently. We understand things differently.
So it's less about expecting everyone else to get how I work and more about me proactively thinking, okay, how can I adjust how I'm showing up?
Precisely. And it's not about being fake or changing your personality. Not at all.
No, it's more subtle.
Yeah, it's about being a more like skillful communicator. Understanding that the way you explain something to person A might just fly over person B's head or maybe land the wrong way.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's make it concrete. How does this actually, play out in our teams here at Alter? Maybe start with client success.
Good example. Okay, client success. Think about their clients. You might have one client who absolutely needs those super detailed, granular updates. Makes them feel secure in the loop.
Right, they want the nitty-gritty.
But then the next client, they might only have bandwidth for the big picture, the highlights, the key results. They get, frankly, annoyed if you bog them down in weeds.
So adaptability for that team is figuring out those preferences.
Yeah, and tailoring. Crisp updates for one, maybe a detailed walkthrough for another. It's all about building trust, but in a way that works for that specific client.
It's proactive, isn't it? Not just waiting for them to complain.
Ideally, yes. Thinking about their role, past conversations, maybe even their company culture, to anticipate how they prefer to communicate. It just makes everything smoother.
Okay, cool. What about our design team? They're explaining creative concepts all the time.
Oh, yeah. They have to be communication chameleons, sort of. When they talk to a client, it's probably about the why behind the aesthetic, how it hits the brand vision, the emotional connection.
The feeling, the look.
But then turn around and talk to a developer. Totally different conversation. It's about feasibility, implementation, maybe file formats, technical specs.
Right. And then loop in the copy team.
And it shifts again. It's about how the visuals and words work together, how the design amplifies the core message. Same design, but three different ways of explaining its relevance.
It's like speaking different dialects of the same language.
Exactly,
Yeah.
speaking their language. That's a perfect way to put it.
And speaking of language, our copy and content team. They live this, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Masters of adaptation. I mean, just think about the whiplash between writing like a super punchy, maybe emoji-filled Instagram caption versus a more formal thought leadership piece for LinkedIn.
Totally different worlds. Different audiences, different goals.
Right. And they're constantly adjusting tone, format, length, even the angle of the message, depending on the platform and who they're trying to reach. Plus, they're fielding feedback from designers, strategists, clients.
And weaving it all together while keeping that core brand voice intact. That's a real skill.
It really is. It all comes down to understanding context, knowing what works where and for whom.
Okay, moving on. Performance marketing. Lots of data there.
A mountain of data, yeah. But adaptability for them isn't just dumping spreadsheets on people.
No, please don't.
Right. When they talk to a client, it's likely focused on the KPIs that matter most to the client's business. The bottom line impact, high-level insights.
Okay, makes sense.
But internally, when they're talking strategy with the team, they'll dive way deeper into the weeds of click-through rates, conversion paths, figuring out what needs tweaking.
So it's about tailoring the level of detail.
Yeah.
Filtering the information.
Precisely. Giving people what's relevant and useful to them, not just everything you know. Avoid the overwhelm.
Good point. What about production? They bring ideas to life.
Yeah, the production team. Talk about adaptability. One day it's a super fast turnaround social reel, needs quick decisions, high energy. The next it might be a strategic brand film with layers of planning and, nuanced collaboration.
Different paces, different pressures.
Totally. They're juggling timelines, formats, stakeholder needs, creative visions. They have to constantly adjust their workflow, how they communicate urgency, how they align everyone. It's complex.
You see it even in our support teams too, right? Like HR and accounts.
Absolutely. think about HR onboarding a new alt link. They need patience, clarity, empathy. They need to explain policies in a really accessible way. Answer maybe basic questions without judgment.
Yeah, make them feel comfortable.
But then, if that same HR person is talking to, say, department leads about resource planning or budget implications, the tone shifts. It's likely more direct, data-driven, focused on efficiency.
So adaptability is just as crucial internally as it is externally.
Fundamental. It's how we make the internal machinery run smoothly, recognizing different needs, different starting points of understanding.
And this isn't just about big team interactions either, is it? It's in our one-on-one chats, our emails, our Slack messages.
Oh, definitely. Every day, we all have, different communication styles naturally. Some people prefer a quick call, others need things written down.
And our energy levels change too. Some days you're ready for intense debate, other days you just need the facts.
Exactly. And adaptability here means being sort of tuned into that, not just assuming everyone's operating on your frequency or in your preferred style.
It means putting the effort in to understand them, not just waiting for them to understand you.
That's the core of it. The definition puts the onus on us. I tailor my interactions.
Right, so if I explain something and I can see it's not clicking, what does adaptability look like then? Just saying it again louder.
Haha, hopefully not. No, it's about pausing and thinking, okay, that didn't work. How else can I frame this? Is there an analogy I can use? Maybe a visual?
Finding a different path to understanding.
Yes. That willingness to rephrase, to try another angle, that's huge. It shows respect and commitment to actually connecting, not just transmitting information.
And it ties into reading the room, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Huh.
Like, are you launching into a complex idea when the person clearly looks stressed or rushed? Maybe now isn't the time. Or are you being maybe a bit too blunt when the situation calls for more empathy?
So it's adjusting the how without necessarily changing the what, maintaining professionalism but also being human.
Exactly. Recognizing when someone might need a bit more context, or maybe just a calmer tone, or perhaps more data. It requires emotional intelligence, being aware.
Okay, so let's try and crystallize this. What does adaptability look like in action, moment to moment?
Well, it's taking that beat, that pause before reacting, especially if you feel frustrated.
Okay, breathe first.
Yeah. It's consciously thinking about your tone. Is it appropriate for this person, this situation?
Right. Shifting gears as needed.
It's prioritizing clarity. Making sure you're understood is more important than just like venting or proving you're right.
That's a big one. Focusing on understanding over being right.
And asking questions, asking yourself, how can I make this easier to understand? And maybe even asking the other person, does that make sense? Or is there a better way I can explain this?
I like that last one. It makes communication a team sport.
Exactly. It invites collaboration.
So maybe some reflection questions for everyone listening next time you feel that, disconnect or misunderstanding.
Good idea. Ask yourself, could I articulate this differently? Am I genuinely trying to consider their communication style? Or am I stuck in my own?
And crucially, is my main goal here just to win the argument? Or is that to actually collaborate effectively and reach a shared understanding?
Those are powerful questions to keep in mind. Because really, at Alter, embracing this adaptability value, it's how we stay human-centered.
Yeah, and productive, even when things get demanding or complex, it keeps us team first.
Definitely. Adaptability isn't about losing yourself. It's about thoughtfully choosing how you connect, how you communicate to make sure everyone feels valued and understood.
It really is a cornerstone of our culture here, isn't it?
Yeah.
And key to unlocking that limitless creativity we're always aiming for.
Couldn't agree more. So, we really encourage you listening to reflect on this. Maybe think about one small way you can practice adaptability today or this week.
Yeah, those small conscious adjustments in how you interact, they can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. It strengthens relationships, improves collaboration, and ultimately makes our work better and, honestly, more enjoyable.